Hello, I'm making this video because a couple of teachers have asked me how to record a voiceover on PowerPoint, and it's really simple. Just to start off with though, use your regular lessons, but you'll have to make sure that you put the answers up for the pupils. Normally you might get the answers through, allowing them to do the answer in the book and marking it yourself, using questioning techniques, drawing the answers from them, using active verbs and things like that. But obviously it's really different when they're not with you in the classroom, so you kind of have to give them a chance to think about the answer and then give them the answer, which is kind of a bit disheartening, but it's probably the best way to go. So here's an example of one of my lessons, which is about the carbon cycle. For the starter activity, I've given pupils three questions that they should know about from their prior learning. I then tell them to pause the video while they think about or write down the answers. And then on the next slide, I give them the answers and write them out, which is obviously something I wouldn't normally do. So first of all, go through your lesson, make sure that you'll be able to teach this online and that all the tasks are suitable and that all the questions have an answer that the pupils will find useful. So here's how to actually record the voiceover. Go to the top left corner, click on File, and go down to Export, and then on that menu go to Create a Video. The first thing you need to do is change seconds spent on each slide to 0. Mine is currently set to 0, but when you open yours it might be set to 5 seconds, which means that it will automatically change the slide after 5 seconds. That's no good if you want to narrate your slides with your own different timings for different slides, so make sure you reset that to 0. The next thing you need to do is go down to this drop down box and click Record Timings and Narrations. That will take you to the screen where you can start recording your voice and or video. So firstly, looking at the bottom right corner, we can see these little buttons here. You can record yourself on a video as well, if you choose to. What that means is that when you finish recording, there'll be a little window at the bottom corner of each slide taken from your camera that's on your laptop or your PC, and it'll show an image of you here. You can move that around the slide to a different space if you want to, a different corner or into the middle, whatever you want. It's just my preference to not have it on there for lessons for pupils because I think they find it distracting. However, if you were going to make a PowerPoint presentation for perhaps a job interview, then it might be better to have that on so that the people that you're presenting to can see you as part of the job interview process. Secondly, you need to make sure that the microphone here is turned on. Okay, looking at the top left of the screen now, this is where the record button is, and when you're ready to start recording your voiceover, you click the record button, and in the centre of the screen it'll count down 3, 2, 1, and you can start recording your voice over the slide. So you say whatever you want to say. So for example, if it was this slide, I would read out the title, date and objectives, ask the pupils to write those down, and I would also encourage them to start working on the quick task. And then I would say pause the video, do all of this, and then when you're ready, restart the video. Then I stop talking for like 5 seconds or so before I click on to the next slide. And then I carry on narrating through the slides. What you'll see is as you go along your recording, at the bottom left corner, this timer will change. So what you can see here is that my total length of the voice recording for this PowerPoint is 22 minutes and 46 seconds. However, for this particular slide, it's 1 minute and 28 seconds. For the next slide, it's only 37 seconds. Now, if you make a mistake as you're recording, what you can do is go up to the top right, click on clear, and if you've botched the entire thing up, you can clear recordings on all slides. However, if you just need to clear the recording on the current slide, so you've just made a mistake on this particular slide but you don't want to delete the whole thing, you can click clear recordings on current slide. Also, you might find as you go along you've made a mistake on the slide or you want to change something. If you leave this screen and go backwards with this arrow here, it'll take you back to your presentation and the recordings you've done so far will be saved. So it won't, like going out of that screen won't delete the recordings you've done so far. And you can tell when your recording has been saved because if you look in the bottom right hand corner of each slide that you've made, there's an image of a speaker. This speaker means that there's a voice recording associated just with this slide. If you've chosen to record your film yourself as well, this will look different. I think a rectangle comes up with your picture, or it might be an image of a camera or something. But either way, you'll know that your sound has been saved to this particular slide using this. And another way you can delete it is just by selecting that and deleting it. Okay, now as you can see on this PowerPoint, I've completed all of the recordings for all of the slides. I've also drawn on them as you go along. So if I reopen the screen that allows you to record timings and narrations, the last thing I want to talk about is this bottom bar here. So you might have a touch screen with a pen, which is what I have. If you don't, you could use your finger to underline things, but you might not be able to draw things so clearly. But what you can do is you can select a colour of ink and select a pen or a highlighter, and you can draw on your slides whatever you want to draw. As I mentioned, I've got a pen, there's an eraser here as well, so you can draw about any mistakes that you make as you go along. And as I said, a highlighter is probably easier if you don't have a pen and you want to draw attention to pupils as they're looking at your slide. You want to draw their attention to a particular piece of text or an image. You can just highlight that as you go along. You don't need a pen for that, it's quite easy to do with a mouse. Okay, so leaving this screen again. So the next thing to do is to export your PowerPoint with the sound on it to an actual video, because at the moment all it is a PowerPoint with some sounds on each slide. It's not an actual video yet. So you go to File, you go to Export, you go to Create a Video, and now that you've got all of the recorded timings and narrations on there, you'll see this little speaker. Before now it would have just looked like a red circle with a cross through it. What you can do now is go to Create Video. Your computer will export this file from the format that it's in, a PowerPoint file, .ppt, to a video file. And I would recommend choosing a Windows Media Video, because you can easily upload that onto YouTube and then share the link with whoever needs to see it. Once you click Save, I'm not going to do that now because I've already done this, but when you click Save, what will happen is, oh, I've done it. Oh well, what will happen is it'll start creating the video in the bottom, whatever file pathway you want that to go to. And this bar will fill up as the video is being slowly created. That can take some time depending on the speed of your computer. Can take up to about 2 hours for me. So just make sure your computer doesn't go into sleep mode. You need to keep it running, but obviously you can be doing other things while that's saving itself and converting from a PowerPoint to a video. Then once you're finished, yeah, I don't need to export it to video right now. I don't want to save any changes. So if I open for you my videos, you can see there are the 3 videos I've made with PowerPoints, and I can now upload those onto YouTube or another website. Probably the file format will be too big for emailing out. So I hope you found that useful, and if you do have any questions, obviously the people who've asked me to make this are actually people that I know, so you can just email me or contact me by whatever means you've been in touch with me. So thanks very much for that then. Bye!